be live streaming going forward now. From now on, every race, we will continue to upload the streams to the podcast places. So please tell your friends about us. Get your family involved. Formula One is the fastest growing sport in the world. There's about 100 million people just got through watching the Austrian Grand Prix. So have all your friends and family become part of it. Welcome, Formula One fans. This is your Formula One News Hour. I'm your host, Jonathan Steele. And yes, it's a sad day or a happy day, depending who you are. If you are a driver, it is a happy day. Your long season has come to an end. And let me tell you, folks, it is a long season for these drivers. If you're a fan, it's a sad day because we've got to wait now about 90-something days, I guess, until we get to enjoy another race. But in the meantime, we've still got today, and we got to get through today. And I think it's going to be an exciting day. Bright and early here, Sunday morning in Austin, Texas, and it's getting towards, I guess, late afternoon, early evening soon in Abu Dhabi. So as we get ready to start this race, some things of note to think about. The first being is that the starting lineup is not going to be that much different than it's been, especially for the last 4 or 5 races. You've got Leclerc and Verstappen up front with Verstappen on the pole. And then behind those guys, you've got Piastri in 3rd place, George Russell in 4th, and Lando Norris in 5th. That's rounding out your top 5. Our great and good 7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton, did not make it into Q3 again. I think that's the last 3 races in a row that he has been unable to get that car into Q3. And folks, I don't believe it's the car, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. At the bottom end, yes, we've got Logan Sargent at number 20 again. And you know what's interesting about Logan Sargent? I haven't heard one peep about him not being in the Williams team next year. I have been saying for the last, I'm going to guess 5, 6, 7 races, that Liam Lawson, the young New Zealand rookie who filled in at AlphaTauri when Danny Ricciardo broke his hand, I have been saying that Liam Lawson is a natural fill-in for Logan Sargent. But I don't make those decisions. I just kind of guesstimate and estimate and all those other things like we do. Like, it's like the news media, right? That they don't know anything. They're just giving you their ideas. So I'm just giving you my ideas. And talking of ideas, I'm thinking that Gene Haas might think about getting a new team principal. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy that they've got right now. In fact, we've got a potential interview lined up with him. But, they've been in the cellar for almost since they started. And every year that we've been following them, they're going to get better. They're going to get better. Mid-year this year, they did have a couple of races where they got up there, especially Hülkenberg, who was the number 2 driver. He was a retired Formula One driver, then came back this year to take the place of Mick Schumacher, who, by the way, I believe was probably a better driver than Logan Sargent. And they were talking about getting rid of Mick Schumacher with still 10 races left in the season. There is one championship that Logan Sargent is going to walk away with this year, and that is the man who has had the most money spent fixing his car, right? And that's the main reason they got rid of Mick Schumacher. It was the Haas team just said, listen, we can't pour $2, $3, $4 million into fixing these cars so you can wreck them every time. Guess what, folks? Logan Sargent has been right up there in there wrecking these cars. Let's get to Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, it's been 2 years since he won a race. He's not going to win today. In fact, it'll be doubtful if he finishes in the bottom pieces of the top 10. Maybe. We'll see. He's starting off at number 11. So Lewis doesn't have it anymore, folks. I predicted earlier this year, probably, April, May time frame, that I didn't think Lewis Hamilton was not only not going to win another world championship, he's not going to win another race. And then Sir Jackie Stewart came along and suggested the same thing. The only thing, I think the slight difference was Sir Jackie said that Lewis would never win another world championship. I don't think he mentioned the fact about never win a race. But I'm going to go on record as saying I don't believe Lewis is going to win another race. 2 years now, and he hasn't won a race. Is his car up to it? Maybe, maybe not. But you know what a really, really good driver is? A really, really good driver takes an okay car and wins with it, right? And remember, George Russell, who is starting today in third place, is pretty much driving the same car as Lewis Hamilton. The thing is, Lewis, when you watch him, you know, and I've actually asked him questions live and been up close with him and just watching his body language and watching how he talks to people. And then you watch how he is on the track, and he is not a man on a mission anymore. He is just a man that is filling a seat in a Formula One race car. He's making great money doing it. If I had his talents and all I had to do was drive around a track and come in 10th or 12th or 7th or whatever, I would do it all day long, right? Most of us would. But there's those that won't. Max Verstappen won't, right? Charles Leclerc, he doesn't want to. Carlos Sainz. Look at not Lando, the Aston Martin driver, not Lance Stroll, the other one. His name's left me suddenly. It'll come back. He doesn't. You can tell by the way he drives. He's still got that. I've got to win this race. I've got to win this race. Doesn't have the car to do it, but he tries really hard to do it. So anyway, we're getting close here to the start of this race this morning. It's 7 o'clock here in Austin, Texas, a little before 7, and that's late afternoon, early evening in Abu Dhabi. So this track is 3.28 miles long. It's got 16 turns. It's got a really nice straightaway, so there are some opportunities for overtaking. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think there's going to be a lot of in the midfield, maybe the top half, bottom half. There'll be a lot of DRSing. The DRS comes into play at on lap 4. So I think we'll see that. But we first, before we get going and lose our attention, we're going to thank the sponsors that have been with us since the very beginning. You know, folks, we've been doing this now for about 18 months. And, you know, we've gone from maybe, 10 or 12 viewers. We're up over 4,000 now. So the Formula One News Hour is becoming quite popular, and thank you to all you folks who get out there and listen to it and watch it or whatever you do. Thank you very much. So let's start by thanking Thenology, a small data center in Austin, Texas. Thenology provides both public and private cloud. They provide co-location, and they provide all things technology. So if you need servers maintained, if you need managed services for your office, Thenology is the folks to go to. It's interesting because they're a data center, but they provide the full stack of technology. There's actually 7 layers to the technology stack, and they provide all 7 layers. Don't know of any other an entity that does that, but Thenology will do that. So give them the opportunity to earn your business. Go to Thenology.com. That is Thenology.com, and give them your business, or give them a chance to earn your business. The next one, of course, is Give, Set, and Go. There's lots of places out there that are doing crowdfunding now. Give, Send, Go is one of the top ones. There are others. But you know what Give, Send, Go doesn't do? They don't censor. They don't pick. They don't. If you've got a need and you need an entity to get money for you or friends or things like that, then they're the place to go to. Back in you remember the Canadian truckers a year or so ago. They had a very famous funding entity go raise $9 million for them. Then they wouldn't give it to them. They said, "Oh, you're bad people. You're not following the COVID regulations." Of course, we all know what a disaster COVID was. It wasn't a disaster. It was the governments that were a disaster behind telling us what to do around COVID. Anyway. Give, Send, Go, pick that up. And so because they don't censor anybody. They, the guy, the poor kid that got accused of murder when he wasn't, he's only in self-defense. They helped him out, got him like $2.5 million. If you're in that position, or maybe you want to start a business, please give Send Go a chance to earn your business. That is Give Send Go. And finally, the Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty, probably my favorite sponsor, just because of what they're doing. They're out there trying to get you, yes, that's you, the listeners and watchers of this podcast and all your friends and all your relatives and everything. They're trying to get you involved at the school board level. Get yourselves onto the school board so that we can correct this ship that has gone way off course when it comes to educating our kids. They should be learning math and English and science and all that kind of stuff. Now, my kids are grown. I've got grandkids, though, and hopefully I'm going to have more grandkids. And so it's a big deal for me. It should be a big deal for you. We don't need them worrying about what gender they are at 5, 6, 7 years old. We don't need them growing up and all of a sudden turning into mediocre athletes as guys and deciding, oh, I'm a woman, and the only way I can win is swim or run or whatever play tennis against women. That's what I'll do. I'm a woman. Yeah, I'm 6'4" guy. Been a guy all my life, and I just woke up last week and decided that I want to be a woman. All of this starts in our schools, folks, and so that's why we need Moms for Liberty. So they've got about 200 chapters here in the United States. If there's not one in your area, please start one. But please get involved. Help them help you to get some what would we call it, sense back into our school system. That's momsforliberty.org. Again, momsforliberty.org. Okay, we're going to be right back with the starting lineup, the grid lineup, and then we will watch the formation lap and get this race underway. All right, folks, as we get ready for the start of the race here, we're going to get through and go through the grid lineup, the starting positions, and then we will get going with the formation lap and the race itself. But first, we got to talk about tires. We got the same tires, soft, medium, and hard. I think everything I've read so far today, I don't think anybody's going to be running the soft tires. It's going to be mostly medium and hard, with most folks starting on medium and then switching to hard. There's going to be a 2-stop strategy for some and 1-stop strategy for others, just depending on how the drivers can manage those tires. But apparently this circuit is really hard on tires. So don't be surprised if we see a 2-stop strategy, and it will probably be medium to start and then hard and hard, or you may have some drivers that will start with hard, go to medium, and then go back to hard. But we'll see as the race goes on exactly how it's going to pan out and see. So we're about to get into the lineup here, and wow, it's a beautiful day in Abu Dhabi. Of course, the weather's always nice in Abu Dhabi. That's just because that's the way it is. And so, like I said, we got Logan Sargent in 20th and Joe Granu starting alongside him in 19th. In 18th, we got Valtteri Bottas, and alongside him, Kevin Magnussen. In 16th, Carlos Sainz, who just had a miserable free practice, and Danny Ricciardo. And then we have Alexander Albon in 14th and Lance Stroll in 15th. On 12th, we've got Esteban Ocon, and then in 11th, we have Lewis Hamilton. In the top 10 starting, we got Pierre Gasly at 10 and Sergio Perez in 9. Quite low for Sergio. Then we've got Nico Hülkenberg in 8th and Fernando Alonso, that's the other Mercedes guy I couldn't think of earlier, in 7th. And then we've got Yuki Tsunoda, I go with Yuki Tsunoda and Lando Norris. And then George Russell, Oscar Piastri, and then of course your front row is Leclerc and Verstappen. So we will be getting through to the formation lap here in just a few moments. Once these guys get the tire warmers off the tires, and incidentally, I think next year although I think I read something where they may be postponing the tire warming as we watch the cars now start to leave the starting grid. As soon as that Rolex watch gets to 5 p.m. locally, it will start, and off they go. And of course, one of the things they're going to do on the formation lap is try to get, and this starts straight away. We watch Max Verstappen try to get more heat into those tires. So that's sorry, I just had a little issue there with the TV. And yeah, so now they're putting up the tire strategies. One stop is medium hard, two stop is medium hard. So I kind of had that. I had hard, medium hard. The experts are showing medium hard. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. And let's see here as the cars finish the formation lap and come back through. We were watching Yuki Tsunoda here, really working on those tires, trying to get the heat into them. And of course, some of them have. Let's see, today's event is sold out. It marks the 15th time, okay, the 15th time that the event has been sold out in Abu Dhabi. So think about this. I think the Las Vegas one, although they ended up, I think, what was it, 308,000 people. I think they were expecting somewhere close to 4,000. So I think Las Vegas, although I as I said in my podcast last week, I think it turned out to be a really good race. It was a really, really good race. I don't think there was quite the number of spectators that they wanted as we watch these movie stars. You know, I wish I watched more movies. I'd be able to tell you who these movie stars are. But I did see during the walkthrough that they interviewed a guy called Hemsworth or something, some actor called Hemsworth. Whoever he is. Anyway, I just saw him again sitting there in one of the team's booths. So, folks, as we go through this race today, more and more, we are the Formula One News Hour and not the Formula One News Day. So there will be times when we'll break away for a few laps and make it easier on our great producer Andre Kuhn to kind of put the race get it down under that 1 hour format and try and get it and make it so that it's just not long and boring. As we watch the green flag come down, we are going to now, the lights are coming on and we are at 5 and we are at go. And Max Verstappen is off to a good start. So is Leclerc, off to a really good start, folks. Leclerc is right alongside him. Now Verstappen moves ahead. Oh, wow. The person who's not had a good start is George Russell. Lando Norris has just taken away that 4th place position from George Russell as we watch Verstappen and Leclerc come into the hairpin turn right there. Verstappen now, he seems to be comfortable, although it's hard to. Leclerc is so close to him as the car's coming down the straightaway, and Leclerc's alongside Verstappen now. Is he going to get past him? Is he? Let's see. No. Verstappen manages to hold him off there in I guess the S's in the chicane. But certainly Leclerc gave him a battle right there for first place. And he's still giving him a battle. In fact, he's trying again. And no, it doesn't quite make it. I think that the Red Bull's got a little better grip in the turns than that Ferrari. But let me tell you something. Leclerc is really pushing to try and get that first place position. Of course, the reason he's doing that is he wants more points for the Constructors' Championship. Right now, Mercedes is in 2nd and Ferrari's in 3rd. The difference in that position is $14 million. So as you go down the road, every position in the standings means $14 million to the team. So it's a lot of money, folks. So you'll really see these guys pushing, like we're watching Leclerc right now, really pushing for that lead. But, Verstappen's kind of opened up a little bit of, 1.1, 1.2 seconds. We're in lap 2. On the second lap, we don't have DRS yet. But I think if Leclerc's going to make any impact on Verstappen, he's got to stay close so that he can have that advantage of DRS when it comes about in a couple of laps. And right now we're on board with George Russell, who is not happy that he got beaten there off the start. And Lando Norris this last couple of races has had a really, really good start. And last week I think it was, he battled there alongside with Leclerc and Verstappen for first place, and had to back out, but he did an incredible job getting away off that start finish line and getting his car in position to really make a difference for his team. So you love to see that in Formula One racing. That's what it's all about. There's some things about these cars I'd like to see changed so that we can get some real true driving again. We have an interview coming up with Helmut Marko, and he and I have some similar ideas on that. I won't tell you all about that interview because it's a really interesting interview. One of the other things that was, we're into the fourth lap now, so we got DRS enabled. One of the other really interesting things about our interview with Helmut Marko is what a really nice guy he is. And he's a lawyer, by the way, for those of you that didn't know, but a really, really nice, interesting guy. And when you see him on TV and everything, you look at him and you think, God, what a miserable looking guy. But he's quite the opposite. He's a very happy guy, loves his job, loves what he's doing. And anyway, I'll leave it for the interview so that you can really enjoy that interview coming up. And I'll have to talk to our producer, All Things Guru guy, Andre Kuhn, to decide when he's going to put that up. We're going to get a replay of the start here right now, and it's quite, like I said, it's quite a really, really fascinating start because Charles Leclerc really does give Max Verstappen a run for his money. And these Red Bull cars are a much better car in race conditions than any of those other cars out there on the track. I mean, they're a superior car when they're weighted down with fuel and they've got everything set up for racing. During qualifying and during free practice and stuff, of course, they can use DRS whenever they have a limited amount of fuel that they put in there. So the cars are really light. As we watch Leclerc on the replay going alongside Verstappen again, but just doesn't seem to have the grip that is needed. And now we're on board on the replay with Verstappen's teammate Sergio Perez as we watch Sergio starting there from the 9th position. And let's see, Lewis Hamilton coming alongside him, trying to take that away. And Lewis Hamilton really just about ran Perez off the track there. So I don't know if in fact, he might have to give that back because it looks like Lewis Hamilton actually left the track. Now we're on board with Lando Norris. So this is going to be a really interesting one because, like I said, Lando Norris went from 5th to 4th. And you can see he gets up alongside George Russell and is able to hold that position and hold Russell off through the initial turns there as they go back down through the S's. So he's able to hold Russell off, and he still has that 4th place position. So that's really interesting. Some really nice driving there from Lando Norris. We go back to race conditions. Now we can look and see what the tire configurations are. So everybody is on the medium with the exception of Stroll, Sainz, Bottas. Yeah, Stroll, Sainz, and Bottas. So those 3 drivers are on the a hard tyre. And so now we're just, the reason I was in there saying, George Russell's battling Piastri for that fourth position. And he is, in fact, doing that. Norris got past his teammate there on lap 4 when DRS was first enabled. And Leclerc does not have DRS capability right now. He's 1.4 seconds behind. However, Norris has DRS on Leclerc, and of course Piastri has DRS on Norris, and Russell has DRS on Piastri. What we've got here is your good old-fashioned DRS train, as we like to call it. Yuki Tsunoda, folks, he's still there in 6th position, right where he started. Fernando Alonso, I think, has moved up 2 positions. Sergio Perez is right where he started. Pierre Gasly is right where he started. And Lewis Hamilton has got past Esteban Ocon to take over that 10th place. So he has moved up 1 spot. At the bottom, Logan Sargeant is still hanging out down there. Magnussen is not far ahead of him. Strangely enough, his teammate Alex Albon, who has also had a really good, I think, a good year and has really done some nice things for that Williams team this year, he's all the way down there in 20th. The 2 Alfa Romeos are 16th and 17th. Bottas being in 16th, Joe Granu in 17th. That's pretty much where they started. As we see we see Magnussen into the pits to change out a tire. Not a tire, but all of them. So I guess we're going to see a replay of what happened here. I guess he got bumped by somebody, or he bumped, but it looks like his right rear wheel just locked up. So I don't know what happened. Let's see if they show that again. Now, let's see. No, sorry. Focusing hard, folks. Focusing hard. The TV is right behind, if you haven't guessed by now, the TV is right behind the camera. So I'm able to look into the camera and watch the TV at the same time. But every now and then, you'll see me glance off to the side for the positions and for the time differences and stuff like that. And every now and then, you'll see me duck under the camera so I can see what the teams or the drivers are talking about. So right now, the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari has moved ahead of Mercedes and find themselves in 2nd place. McLaren has moved up ahead of Aston Martin and finds himself in 4th place. So very nice money there. Talking of Aston Martin, the Aston Martin team have done remarkably well this year. Fernando Alonso, I think he's in 4th or 5th position for the Drivers' Championship. But also this last 3 or 4 races, ever since Austin, actually, when Fernando Alonso had to drop out of that race. But Lance Stroll did a very good job in that race, and I think ended up 6th or 5th in Austin, Texas. And since then, he's been at some very respectable positions. Where is he? Right now, he's in 12th, and Alonso's in 7th. But still, I'm always ready to be critical of Lance Stroll because he's normally wrecking somebody or doing something crazy out there on the track. But I got to say, these last probably 4 or 5 races, he's really settled down into becoming a mature driver. Maybe it's the threat that Daddy's going to sell the team has maybe got him to decide, if I want to stay in Formula One, I've got to make it worthwhile for Daddy to keep pouring the money into this team and really, trying to build a really good team. Because let me tell you, folks, as I think I've said a couple of, maybe one time before, when our producer, Andre Kuhn, tried to talk to Daddy, Daddy was just plain right, I'm not going to call it nasty, but really unpleasant. And I'm thinking to myself, why be so unpleasant, Lawrence? He had to go, stop, go away, leave me alone. In that same time, he could have taken a picture with Andre. And instead of having all that negative energy coming out, he could have had some positive energy. He could have had a nice picture with Andre, a very fine young man. He could have got a lot of publicity out of it. The millions of Formula One News Hour spectators and listeners would certainly have nothing but good things to say about Lawrence Stroll. But as it is right now, Lawrence, you need to really enjoy life. I guess he's my age, maybe a little older. I don't know. A lot of people think I'm younger than I am, especially when they see me live. But Lawrence looks older than me when he's out there. Of course, he's a little chunky, he's a little overweight, so that kind of makes him a little older. But I'd say he's got to be in his 70s, maybe middle, late 70s, and not like me, early 70s. But anyway, back to the race. Right now, we're going to be looking at cars. We got Sargent and Magnussen. So there's what. There's why. There's why Magnussen was in the pits, folks. Something happened with that right. Was it right? Yeah, no, left rear wheel. And I'm thinking Logan Sargent is what happened to that left rear wheel. As we look at Pedro Award, who got to drive a Formula One car this weekend. He was in free practice session for McLaren. If you're not familiar with Pedro Award, go watch some IndyCar racing. A very fine IndyCar driver. But I got bad news for Pedro. There's very few IndyCar drivers that are successful in Formula One. And conversely, there's very few Formula One drivers that are successful in IndyCars. The one exception is in 2021, Ericsson, who won the Indy 500, had spent not in Formula One, but in Formula Two, had spent quite a bit of time and was a very good Formula Two driver. But for some reason, they don't seem to be able to mismatch. You got to give guys like who am I thinking of? It'll come to me in a minute, and I'll come back to you. But Mario Andretti, that's who I'm thinking about, as someone that could go from IndyCar to. In fact, Mario is just an exceptional driver. All of those guys were back then. But you look at Jim Clark and those guys. They go from sports cars to dirt track cars to Indy cars to NASCARs to Formula One cars. They were champions. Let's face it. Whole different thing of driver. Watch our interview with Helmut Marko, and you'll get some more insight into my feelings on that. His as well. And his are a lot more important than mine because he's actually involved with Formula One. He's there. He's in a position of influence. But some of the things we talk about, I don't think we'll ever get through. But you never know. You just never know. But so the Ericsson, give him credit, went from Formula 2 to IndyCar and won. But, we met and talked and had lunch with Romain Grosjean in Austin. If you remember, he's the guy famous for literally coming out of the flames back in 2021 when his car went through the barriers. And he was Formula One driver. I would say, if you're in Formula One, you're successful. But he has not found success in Indy cars. And talking to some of the drivers and even guys like Mario Andretti, because I tried to, show my knowledge and looked really ignorant because I said, as you move from one car to another, the suspension systems have got to be, pretty similar. And he goes, no. So that was me shot down in flames, which I deserved to be. I was, but being a mechanical engineer and really understanding a lot of these suspension systems, I grew up on a farm and we fixed everything ourselves. So, I know all about wishbones and tie rod ends and all that kind of stuff because I replaced a lot of them by the time I was 12, 13 years old. But understanding them in a family car setting and a race car setting obviously is quite different. So anyway, we're on lap 11 and we are going to take a quick break here and we'll come back in just a moment. Okay, we're back and it is lap 26. Guess what's changed? One thing. George Russell's managed to get ahead of Lando Norris. We've gone through a set of tire changes. Came quite early, actually, I thought. Some of them was starting to change right as we were leaving, actually, on lap 12. A couple of them were coming in. So we've gone through pretty much an entire sequence of tire changes. One of the nice things that happened during that little break was that Yuki Tsunoda got to lead a Formula One race for his very first time. So right now, where is he? He's back in ninth because he's on the hard tires now. But yeah, it's just, he's having an amazing weekend, and all kudos to him. He's at one time, and he felt like Horst, the main guy at AlphaTauri, was going to fire him because he was a Logan Sargent and a Mickey Schumacher in his early days, where he was wrecking a lot. It was costing the teams a lot of money to keep putting his car back on the track all the time, and so yeah, he really thought his days in Formula One was numbered. They've stuck with him. And this year, I would say he's had a very nice, comfortable year, especially the last few races, although he was a little unlucky and got knocked out. I think it was in Austin. He got knocked out pretty much straight away, and then Mexico. But that none of those was his fault. It was actually a car failure. So, but anyway, it was really nice to see him doing that. And like I say, he's worked his way back up to ninth. He's just one stop ahead of his teammate, Danny Ricciardo, who's now up to 10th. Where is Lewis Hamilton is sitting in 8th right now, and he's 4 seconds behind Alonso. But at the top, we still got Verstappen, who is leading Leclerc by 5.7 seconds. At one time before the tire changes, that was like 22, 23 seconds. Anyway, as we watch Nico Hülkenberg being passed by Carlos Sainz right now, and that Ferrari of Carlos Sainz is not in that best of shape, not really good race condition. They had to completely rebuild it after he had a really, really nasty mishap in free practice 1 here, and the car was demolished, so they completely rebuilt that car, and they're doing, I think, quite well. Bottas has got himself up to 14th position. Joe Granu is hanging down there in 18th position. So, if you're Alfa Romeo, what are you thinking about for next year? I mean, they've had a miserable year, folks, just miserable. Valtteri Bottas was a solid podium finisher when he was at Mercedes. So we know it's not the driver, it's the car. So does Alfa Romeo look at changing out their team principal? I'm pretty sure we're going to see some changes in leadership at some of these teams, because they're not like Alfa Romeo is just this year. They've not been much better than Haas. And that's that's saying something. I mean, they've consistently been way down there. As we watch a Sergio Perez fan there in the crowd, we always like to see. It's great to see all the different nationalities cheering on their drivers and stuff like that. It's a big part of the sport, and they're very proud of the country they're from and stuff like that. So that's always good to see, especially good to see bringing kids up that are proud of their country. That's something that's missing in so many countries. Even this country, you look at the demonstrations and things like that are going on in this country right now. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And it's wherever you're from. I'm a Brit. I'm a U.S. citizen. I got that last year, but I have a dual citizenship. And so, I'm proud of being a Brit, but I'm also proud of living here in the United States and contributing to it. I think I've done a good job over the years of paying a lot of taxes and putting my kids through school and stuff like that, and providing jobs for people in a company that I own. So it's good. It's a good country. I came here from England because England was very socialistic when I left there, and it was also very damn cold. That's why I went to Australia, and I never meant to come here to the United States. I was on my way back to Australia after a car accident and got sidetracked. But anyway, that's another story for another day. Right now, we're on lap 30 of 58, and we are not seeing that much going on. Nobody's got DRS on anybody else. Hamilton's not going to get past Alonso. Ricciardo might get ahead of Lance Stroll. In fact, Ricciardo now just moved in to within striking distance, and now they're saying that Lewis Hamilton is in striking distance of Alonso, but I don't see that. He's 3.2 seconds behind. But anyway, maybe Lewis has got something in that car that we don't know about. But his buddy is still up there in third position, and the rest of the team, Magnussen now is holding up dead last, and Logan Sargent finds himself in 18th. Bottas is just coming into the pits for another set of tires. If you remember, he started on hard, so he's just on a one-stop strategy, hard to hard. Is what I'm thinking, or hard. No, he's not going to go to medium because there's 28 laps left, and those medium tires have only been lasting between 18 and 22 laps. By the end of the 23rd, 24th lap, everybody had completed their tire change, so he's not going to be doing that at this stage. Sorry, got to drink my tea and help my allergies right here. And it's nice. The sun is set now in Abu Dhabi, so we get a nice view of the track right at sunset with all the lights on. It's really if you ever get a chance to go there, you put it on your bucket list and go. And not just Abu Dhabi. Go to Qatar, go to some of the other, go to Egypt, certainly go to Israel. It's a really fascinating place to go. Not a lot of people know, 40% of Israel's population is Arab. Yeah, the Muslims. So that'll just give you some idea that, the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians and everything, we can all live together, folks. It's the fringes, it's the outside, the radicals that really make things difficult for everybody else. But the Middle East is a very interesting part of the world and well worth a visit. So if you haven't put it on a bucket list, put that on your bucket list. And they're talking to James Voles. He's the guy that moved over from Mercedes to take on the Williams team. And of course, I can't hear them because if I turn the volume up to hear him, then it's going to create a nightmare for Andre. But I'm sure that after the race, this next couple of weeks, I think will probably be fairly quiet. And then maybe right before the end of the new year, and then into the new year, I think we'll start getting some whispers and some rumors about potential changes going on in the Formula One world. During that time, of course, we've got hopefully we're working with Jackie Stewart's folks to get an interview with Jackie. We've got working with Michael Andretti's folks because we got to talk to Michael and met him alongside his dad in Austin. And so we're working with his folks to get an interview with him, and we've got some others coming up too, hopefully. And like I said, we've got a couple of the team principals lined up. I think I put a picture out there of Instagram of me talking with the team principal from Red Bull. And of course, I was trying to persuade him to do 2 or 3 things. One, we would like to do an interview with him, but I want to do an interview with Hannah Schmidt. I would really like to understand how a little girl, let's face it, everybody starts off little boy, little girl, right? How does a little girl grow up to become, she was engineer of the year last year, folks, in Formula One. How does she grow up to become engineer of the year? And there's a couple of others. The little girl that used to, when you get to my age, any female under 60 years old is a little girl. So girls, ladies out there, please don't take offense. But she was Sergio Perez's strategist when he was at McLaren. So we're trying to line up an interview with her also as we watch Pierre Gasly come into the pits and change out another set of tires. That is a long pit stop, folks. 4.1 second. Whoa. we was it where were we? Las Vegas last week when we saw problems with them getting the wheel to come off the spline, and I kind of opinioned then that maybe the cold weather and the wheel, the spline had not heated up enough so that it would just pop off. The wheel would just pop off, and so it being cold, it actually shrunk onto the spline. But again, that was just the engineer in me coming out thinking about that as they tell Lando Norris to box. So this is probably, we're going through now, I think, the last series of tire changes. So as we watch the leaders come in, and of course Lando Norris is in fourth, we're probably going to see a whole bunch of them coming in for the final pit stops with let's see, 18.6. No, we still got quite a few laps to go. So maybe not the final one. This maybe some of them have got one more pit stop in them. But anyway, we probably going to see Leclerc come in right now or within a couple of laps, because they'll be thinking that Norris is putting what we call the undercut on him. So what happens is if they don't come in pretty much straight away, they've got old tires. Leclerc's got old tires. They got new tires. They can get, sometimes 1.5 seconds more per lap out of that car than the guy that's got old tires. So we're going to be interesting to see. But we're going to take a little break again right here so that our great and good producer and all things technical guru, Andre Kuhn, can have a much easier time getting this and making this a Formula One news hour and not a Formula One news day. Okay, so we are on lap 48 of lap 48 of 58, and we are just watching Sergio Perez, and it looks like he forced Lando Norris off the track there. Now I'm sure he's contending. Let's look. We're watching. Watch. Yeah. I'm thinking Perez has got ahead of Lando, but I'm thinking, that's dangerous. So now the stewards are going to put it under investigation. I'm thinking, folks, that Perez is going to have to give that position back. If he doesn't give that position back, he could well be looking at a 5-second penalty. Right now, 5 seconds would put him back into about 6th position. So with now we've got 9 laps to go. The Constructors' Championship is flipped, folks. We've got Mercedes back in 2nd place and Ferrari in 3rd. So as we watch it, we're doing a replay here of the Perez-Lando Norris bumping, where it looks to me like Perez actually, he had plenty of room and he just turned into Lando Norris. So I think that he's going to either, if he doesn't voluntarily give that position back, he'll be hit with a 5-second penalty, I would think. And it does not look like he's going to give that position back, because now Norris is a full 1.3 seconds behind him. Verstappen is nicely out there. He's got 8.1 seconds on Leclerc. And Leclerc has, 3 seconds on George Russell. So I think if it was to end right now, we'd have podium would be Verstappen, Leclerc, and Russell. I must have drunk too much last night. I having trouble with my words right now. Either that or it's my allergies. Either that or there's something in the tea. As we watch the Williams of Alex Albon put a move on Nico Hülkenberg. Those Haas cars have no answer to anybody wanting to pass them. They just pass them, which is it's as a driver, I'm sure it's very frustrating. Nico Hülkenberg came out earlier in we get to vote for driver of the day, folks. Where's Yuki? Yuki's in 7th. I'm voting for Yuki. He would be my vote for the day. Anyway, going back to it, there was a Hülkenberg just put out a thing that was very critical of the Haas car. He basically said it's a piece of junk. And it's not nice to talk like that about the car you're driving. But, the truth is the truth. And will he be back next year? Hey, what about if Liam Lawson does not go to Williams, will he go to Haas? We'll see. Will he be in Alfa Romeo? One of those Alfa Romeo drivers has got to go. My money is it's Joe Granu. He's done nothing. He's not really. He's when you look back at throughout the last couple of years since he's been doing it, he just really hasn't. Alex Albon got swapped out and changed out, but that young guy has really shown that he can drive a Formula One car. Let's see. Gap between Perez and Russell. Maybe we can make them fight a bit more towards the end. If we see that we are not in second in the constructors. Interesting strategy there coming from Leclerc. So let's see. Leclerc is 9 seconds behind Verstappen. So he's 3 seconds ahead of Russell. And Perez has closed that gap on Russell. So what he's thinking there is, can they help Perez gain more than five? Because they're going to give him a 5 second. He's not giving the play. They're giving him a 5 second penalty, right? So they're giving Perez a 5 second penalty. So Leclerc must have heard that coming across his radio before they put it up on the TV here. So Perez has got a 5 second penalty. So what they want to do, because now Mercedes is back in second place, if they could get Perez up ahead, finish ahead of George Russell, that will give Ferrari second place. So let's see what Russell's, because are we going to see what Russell's got to say? No, there you see me ducking, right, to have a look underneath the camera. So, so this is interesting stuff. So Leclerc wants to help Perez, so that will help them take away that second place trophy for constructors, because right now it's 1 point flipping the other. But the other thing too, and it's not going to happen, Carlos Sainz is 6 seconds behind Hamilton. And I remember earlier I was saying that Hamilton was chasing down Alonso. Guess what? He didn't catch him. Alonso's now nearly 3 seconds ahead as we watch a replay of Lando Norris. They're finally giving a replay, another, I would guess, on the bump that Lando Norris and Sergio Perez had. And you can see Sergio just doesn't give him any track. He just literally doesn't. So Lando Norris has literally got to leave the track. And of course, now Perez is talking to his team saying, why am I getting a penalty? Oh, he was at fault. Yeah, it's great, right? This is the way it is in life. He did it. No, he did it. He did it. No, I didn't do it. He did it. Yeah, it's human nature, right? We all think we're right all of the time. And it turns out that most of the time, we're 50% right and 50% wrong. As we watch Yuki Tsunoda now. Alonso is catching Yuki. He's only 1.8 seconds behind. We got 5 laps to go. And let's see, at the bottom, of course, Haas is dead last, and then Alfa Romeo's second to dead last. And AlphaTauri with Yuki Tsunoda and now Danny Ricciardo up there in 13th place. So really a nice end to the year for the AlphaTauri folk and Mr. Horst, who is at his last race as we watch Danny Ricciardo go by. I think Esteban Ocon, he's in Ferrari. It's not maybe Pierre Gasly. It was Esteban Ocon. I was right the first time. So okay, so where are we? We got 4 laps to go, and this has been a really, really interesting race, folks. Other than the fact, of course, Max Verstappen's been way out there, but Sergio Perez and Lando Norris. Sergio Perez has got 4.9 seconds. So what he's trying to do is maintain that 4th position. What he'd like to do is get 3rd. I don't think it's going to happen. He's got a DRS on George Russell, and he's about to take that position, quote unquote, away from George Russell. But it's still gonna be once it ends, George Russell's going to get back, because I don't think Perez can make 5 seconds up in now 4 laps, right? That's 1.25 seconds per lap. I just don't see it happening, even with help from Leclerc. So, we're in lap 54 of 58, and like I was saying, it's been a really, really interesting race. There's been a lot of stuff going on, DRS trains both at the top and midway, in the middle. But for the most part, what's been really nice is really watching some of the teamwork going on between the different teams, and of course, if you want to vote for driver of the day, if you're a Sky Sports subscriber, please go to your Sky Sports remote and click on the yellow button and pick your team and pick Yuki Tsunoda. So, of course, we don't have that over here, but back over there, they've got it in the UK, and I think probably more Sky Sports is throughout Europe. I remember when it came into being about 22 years ago, 25 years ago. The Murdoch family is the Murdoch. That's the Australian family that owns Fox News, owns a bunch of newspapers all over the world, actually, and of course, like I said, they are one of the owners of Sky Sports. So a big thing. So did you see who that guy that owned Rupert Murdoch? Did you see who he married? He married that model. He was married to that Chinese woman. Remember that for a while? And he married what is her name? She's 60 now, 65, because Murdoch's in his late 80s, early 90s. So anyway, let's get back to the racing. We don't need to worry about that stuff. So right now we've got 3 laps to go. Right now, as it's sitting, Ferrari is in second place right now. So Perez has moved past George Russell. While I was talking to you about pressing the yellow button, I forgot to notice that George Russell had been overtaken by Perez. He's got 1.5 seconds on him as we're watching now Fernando Alonso chase down Yuki Tsunoda, and I don't. Alonso's got so much experience, and we're actually watching Lance Stroll in the other Mercedes trying to get past Carlos Sainz. If he does, that puts him in points. Sainz is in 10th position right now. So some really nice driving going on between these guys. I would think Stroll can get past Carlos Sainz, because he's right up on his rear wheels, on his rear spoiler right now, and he has DRS. So I think once they get to the straightaway, then he will take over that 10th position. And let's see, where's Yuki and Alonso are still battling it out as we're now down on lap 56. When I say we're on lap 56, that of course is the leader, Verstappen. But he's only 13 seconds ahead of Leclerc, so it's so the top 4 or 5 are all pretty much on the same thing, within 20 seconds of each other. So Lance Stroll and Carlos Sainz, he still hasn't got past him. He's doing a really nice job battling him, and of course everybody in the Ferrari camp is kind of, oh no, don't do that, because when he does that, then Ferrari's going to lose that second place in the Constructors' Championship. So Sainz has to fight for his life. Oh, now they're telling him to box. So that fight is over. And Lance Stroll will take over 10th position. And folks, Mercedes will take back second place in the Constructors' Championship. I wonder why Ferrari, maybe his tires are just shot. But to bring him in at this stage is great. So if he gets the fastest lap, he gets 1 point. So what? It doesn't buy him anything. Oh, now we're watching. Poor Yuki. Here's, is he? Yes, they're going through the turn. Yeah, And Alonso is taking away that 7th position from Yuki Tsunoda. But still, Yuki's just had an incredible day. Every now and then they put the leader on the TV, right? Why, I don't know. When you look at it, he's the only car on the track. I mean, it's like, what is he doing here? Leclerc radio, tell me the gap. So Leclerc's still trying to help out his buddy, Sergio Perez, because now they really do need Perez to finish in 3rd place, because right now, like I say, Mercedes will take that 2nd spot in the Constructors' Championship, and that is worth $14 million. Not that Mercedes needs $14 million. Have the Toto Wolff, their team principal's worth $1.5 billion. He can just he's going to make more than that $14 million in interest this year. He can just donate that to the team. So the first driver to lead 1,000 racing laps in a season, that, folks, is Max Verstappen. Think about that. 1,000 laps in a single season. You know what? And percentage-wise, he might take away, I got to look at that after this race, he might take away the last record that Jim Clark was holding, and that was the highest percentage of wins versus events. Clark was way up there, because there was one year that I think he won, well, he'd be 100%, wouldn't he? Anyway, we'll have to look. We'll have to look and see if actually, because I think that's the last record that Jim Clark had left. He's had so many records for a long time, 50, 60 years. Think about that. With all of these drivers and all this stuff, you got a guy that died in 1968 still owning world records. And actually, what's his name? Lascari, from the 50s. His record held up, one of his records held up until this year. And it was Max Verstappen that took it away from him. So as we watch, what are we on? We're on lap 58. We're on the last lap. And let's see, where's Perez? Perez is not going. He's 2.7 seconds between him and Russell. He is not going to get it. And the checkered flag is out. And folks, the 2023 Formula One season is fast coming to an end. And the driver of the day is Yuki Tsunoda. So congratulations to Yuki. Really good weekend for him. Got to lead a Formula One race for a while and then gets driver of the day. So your podium is going to be Verstappen, Leclerc, and Russell. You got the two McLarens are going to finish in, let's see, where is Perez? Anyway, I think Perez is going to finish in 6th with the fifth. I think he'll finish between. They took the thing away from me as we're watching Lewis Hamilton taking away Yuki Tsunoda's. Whoa! Hamilton nearly lost it. Whoa! He passed Yuki Tsunoda, and he's all over the track as he got past him. And then Yuki Tsunoda, when that happened to him, Yuki Tsunoda took that position. We're seeing a replay again. He goes out wide. Oh, his right. He literally. This car just didn't turn. So the one time that Lewis Hamilton decides, well, I'm really going to try this time, and he nearly loses it. And so Yuki Tsunoda gets that position back and finishes ahead of Lewis Hamilton. That's got to be a big thrill for him. So, folks, we're coming to the end. In fact, we are at the end as all of the fireworks and things go off in Abu Dhabi. We've come to the end of the 2023 Formula One season. However, that's not the end of the Formula One podcast. They will continue on a weekly basis all the way through the season. We'll do a lot of history of drivers from the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and so forth. Folks, there's a lot of them and a lot of famous ones. There's a lot. You know what I really want to get Jackie Stewart for is because he's one of the few drivers from that era. Him and Emerson Fittipaldi and and Mario Andretti, that from the 60s and 70s that are still with us. They're all in their 80s, so I think Emerson might be just a little younger, maybe late 70s. But still, we need to get a nice interview with them and get them on record before they depart the earth and move on. But let's, as we come to the end here, let's again thank our sponsors, Thenology, a data center in Austin, Texas, providing both public cloud, private cloud, co-location, and all things technology-wise. Storage. Storage is a big deal these days. You need storage, call Thenology. Go to their website. Go to the website at thenology.com. And then, of course, Give, Send, Go, the crowdfunding entity that does not care whether you're what your status or what you are in your life. There's no censorship going on there, unlike some other of the other crowdfunding entities. So if you need to help a friend, you need some help yourself, you want to start a business, you need a little extra cash to help you along, please go to givesendgo.com. And of course, as I said earlier in this podcast, my favorite, Moms for Liberty, because they are trying so hard to get our schools back on track. And let's face it, folks, the only way they can get the schools back on track is with your help. So get out there and help them help you. Get onto the school boards. Make your voices heard. Go to the school board meetings and all of this stuff they're trying to tell little 6 and 7 or 8-year-olds. Well, I know you think you're a boy, but you're not really a boy. You just have all of the biological pieces of a boy, but really you're a girl. Yeah, and you can have babies. What a load of... I can't say the word. Well, I can. What a load of shit. So anyway, please go out there. They've got 200 chapters, folks, for you to join, or one of 200. And if there's not one in your area, you can go out and start one. So please go out and help. momsforliberty.org. That is momsforliberty.org. So until next week, this is Jonathan Steele with the Formula One News Hour saying have a great week. But wait, we're not going to do it until we say thank you to Andre Kuhn, who brings you this podcast every week. All I am is the mouthpiece. And I've been told that I'm a mouthpiece. But anyway, let's thank Andre for all the hard work that he does. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.